It's Sunday, August 9th in the morning, and thought I'd do a video. My last video had a lot of light changes, and mostly because I recorded in the morning, and it's morning again here, so we'll see. I'm hoping it doesn't do that again. So I'm back to show you some things about my stitching. I'll have a few pictures at the end of quilts, and I've actually been back into rug hooking a little bit, so I'll show you a picture of my attempt to rug hook. I still don't have the motion quite down pat, so I think that takes practice, so I'm hoping that'll come. But anyway, first I thought, and it's hot, it's humid, which makes it feel even hotter. The heat index, all of that stuff. Although really, we've just had mid to upper 90s. We haven't had many days over 100. It's still hot. You get in your car, it's hot. My car doesn't stay in the garage, so it's hot. Okay, enough about the weather. Did you come here for a weather report? And here is your Florida weather report. Okay, last time I talked about I wanted to do some FFOing, to do some fully finishing. So I did a few things. I still have a lot of pieces that I want to make into, they're smalls, and I want to do them into, flats or pin cushions or something. The trouble if you have them into pin cushions, and then you have to find a place to put all this stuff. I'm supposed to breathe. So let's everybody together. Mute for today. Amazing. Guess what? I would be breathing regardless whether you told me to or not. But anyway, I understand. You're supposed to take deep breaths. So I did some FFOing. There's a lot more that I want to do. I kind of have to dedicate a whole day to doing it, and with my quilting and stuff quilts I want a piece, and it just, I don't know how when you're at home all the day you're busy, but somehow it happens. And I've been getting a lot of quilts. I kind of went through a period where I've kind of got caught up and only had like maybe 3 or 4. And then all of a sudden, within a few days, I was back up to 15. Some of them are small, but still, it's quilts that I need to get done. And I said I was going to show you FFOing because that's what I keep trying to tell you. So the first thing I did, and I'm not totally, so this is sort of FFO'd. This is a pin drum. This was the original pattern by Plum Street. It was one of her cereal bowl collections. And when I got it, I think originally it had the floss and the trim with it. It was kind of wasn't a complete kit because it didn't have linen. So this was lesson 1, make use of present time. Sampler lessons, and I have all of them. I just haven't stitched them all. So this one I decided to make into a drum. Now I left a space up here because I want to put something. I don't quite know what. I had some kind of embroidered type trim, not embroidered, almost like a little crocheted kind of an antique piece, but it's not very big. So I need to find something that's gonna, and I want to put a strawberry on top. So I did follow Vanna's technique for doing a pin drum, Vanna Pfeiffer, the twisted stitcher. I guess I should go this way so you read the words, make use of present time. And then I left a little bit of a space back here since it has words. It's a little easier to read because, everybody that comes into my house picks this up and says, well, what does this say? Oh, make use of present time. Okay. That does not happen. First of all, I don't have people coming to my house other than quilt customers, and most of them have been happy just to drop something off at the front door. So, But that was my reasoning. Okay, we're going with that. Plum Street, Lesson 1, Cereal Bowl series. They were sweet. They were, she released them, I want to say about 5 years ago. 2015. No, that is accurate. The next one that I FFO'd, and this is from Scattered Seed, who is Tammy Black. This was the first one, and she has an Etsy store, so go to Scattered Seed, Etsy. Now this is the Little Wren collection, I think is the name of the collection, Out on a Limb, Pin Keep. It's kind of an interesting shape, so it wasn't the easiest to fully finish. I don't know why. It should be easier to stuff something that's oval or round rather than something that's square, but I struggled with it a little bit. And mine is not great, but it was a kit, came with the floss. She includes DMC floss. So this was the first one this year, and I actually already have the second one, which I haven't started. Set Free. That's cute. Kind of an oval. I think I might do, I don't know if you watched one of my earlier videos, but I did a Brenda Gervais piece in that oval shape that stands up. So I'll do this similar. It comes all kitted. She includes DMC, she includes the backing, she even includes, you know, ribbon or the seam tape or whatever we call that for embellishing. They're very nice, very nice. I have a lot of her pieces that I haven't done. And so now my husband does make shaker boxes. He's kind of, he got a lathe, so he's kind of been preoccupied with his lathe. But I did finish this, and that's the backing she gave. And when I originally measured it, I have a LaHaye's box, and I thought, oh, that's going to fit in there perfect. Well, it doesn't really. I didn't quite make it big enough, so it kind of slides around a little bit. But I wanted it loose, so if I, you know, and I love the color with it. I'm not sure what color this. We were given these as a part of our attendance to the Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat in the fall of 2018. We each got a LaHaye's box. I think some people got I think there was a choice. This or something else. I can't remember what the other thing was. But anyway, I chose a box. And I'm not sure what color this is. These are painted boxes. The finish is painted. But I love them. So I could have put it on the top, but I just didn't want to. I'd rather have it so that you can see what's inside. Then you can put little scissors or whatever on the inside. Scattered Seed, Out on a Limb, and Keep. So I fully finished that, and I stuff with sawdust. People ask, where do you get sawdust? From the garage. Now, before my husband had all his power tools, I considered going to Home Depot, because some people said you can get sawdust from Home Depot or Lowe's, whatever. Then somebody else said, don't go there, it's not clean. At one point in time, I bought some from an Etsy store. So I think if you Googled sawdust Etsy, you might be able to get some. Or, you know, just ask around. Surely somebody in your area does woodworking and they have tons of sawdust. So that was the second thing I fully finished. This was the next thing, and I stitched this last year. This is by the Scarlet House. It's called Autumn Alphabet. And I have a couple other fall things that I have stitched that I need to fully finish. I don't do a great job, but I do a satisfactory job, in my opinion. You know, I think Laura says good enough for government work. Yeah. Now, where did I get this hornbook thing? Well, in the pattern, she mentions you can reach April at Homestead Needle at charter.net. She's also on Etsy under Homestead Needlework with an E at the end. And it's called the Scarlet Butterboard. So here's Homestead Needleworks. Oh, Needleworks. April Taylor. And when you get on there, you might find some other things you want. I got a couple of small quilt hangers that, shoot, I forgot to get something else that I wanted to show everybody. I'll keep going. I may go get it, or I may just show you on the next video. The next thing that I haven't finished, partly fully finished, and that's this little one. And it's by the Scarlet House. It's called Button Posies. It's adorable. I'd like to also do the scissor fob. And I've stitched it except for the left an opening at the bottom so that I can stuff it. But somehow yesterday I didn't want to get sawdust back out again. I do it on my cutting mat, but I try to put something down, newspaper, something, because stuffing with sawdust is messy. I like it. I like the way it feels, but it's messy. So Button Posies, almost fully finished. And then I have a couple of pieces that I really ventured into the beyond. And I have framed a few things myself, but absolutely nothing to write home about. But I did this. I did two pieces. The first one is this. This was a special offering, exclusive. It's called Hannah's Brownstone. I want to say you can get it now, but I don't swear by that. It's by the Scarlet House. Do you see a theme here? Hannah's Brownstone. And I stitched it a while ago, and it's not exactly even, but it's so. And up here, it's not even, but if I had put it to where I had the same, I tried to match the distance here with the distance here, because I'm kind of big on things being, and actually the bottom is straight, so it doesn't look straight in the thing, but it follows the line of the linen. This was a frame that I had, and it was kind of a dark green, and I just got some folk art acrylic paint, black, painted it. I was gonna sand it and kind of distress it, but I ended up not doing it. So this is a paper bag cut up to put on the back. You use what you have, you know. So anyway, Hannah's Brownstone, it's framed. I actually have it hanging in my sewing room. I rearranged my sewing room a week ago yesterday, so last Saturday, which means my cutting table. I have 4 Raskogs by IKEA, the little carts with the wheels full of fabric and kits, and there's a wall of fabric in there. It's like really cluttered. But I know where everything is. I put my stitching chair in there so I can enjoy just sitting and stitching. I have an antique dry sink in there, and I moved that. You thought I got hit by a truck on Sunday last week. I was like, what the heck? I'm too old to be this sore, this little bit of work I did. Okay, I framed one more piece. I think I showed you this a while ago, Cross Stitch Nation. A lot of people made this into a drum, which is also really cute. This is by Heartstring Samplery, Cross Stitch Nation. I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. I really enjoyed this, and I had it kitted for a while. It was one of those things like, come on, Carol, just do it. So I framed it. And this is a frame. When we used to live in Kansas City, there were a lot of stores that you could go in and they just had country type stuff. To me, there's a difference between country and primitive. Country is like doilies and cross-stitch geese with eyelet mounted in a hoop. Now, if all of you have that in your house, praise God for you. I have what I call primitive or folk art. And I even like, I tend to like even a colonial type look. So anyway, when I say they had country things, they had things that I would call primitive folk art and including country. And this makes this look really pink. The linen is not pink at all. So anyway, I had this frame. I had 3 or 4 of them that I've gotten, and I've used them all on different things. It's a real primitive frame. So I framed it. I laced it. I've tried pinning. I find I can do a little bit more even with lacing. So I stitched this in the spring this year, 2020. I'm always reluctant to put the date on, but then I look around some of the ones that I have dated like that. I think, oh, it's nice to know when I did that. Duh. So that was what I've done as far as fully finishing. I have so much more to do. I probably have 3 good Saturdays that I could spend fully finishing. And there are a couple more things I'd like to frame, but I'd have to order some frames. So I need to go to Michael's. I've ordered a few from Hobby Lobby, and I've kind of exhausted what I like at their selection. So I need to go to Michael's because some people have said Michael's has some good choices. So what have I been stitching? So last time I showed you, I was almost finished with the Smith Sampler by Scarlet House. And it was a terrible picture. So this time I decided to get it out again because it is finished. So I can show you a little better. The picture, when I filmed it last time, was really, really dark. I was really disappointed in my last video. Not that I'm thrilled with most of them, but when you put yourself out there, you just got to go with it is what it is. But I hate when the lighting is such that you can't see it very well. So Smith Sampler I finished. I think I had a lot to do on the border last time, and I had these red berries on these flowers, leaves, whatever. So that one I finished. And when I've told you before, I used the 2020 Book of Days by Needlework Press, and along with each month, I will keep track of my finishes. So if in July I had 3 finishes, That's what I have listed in July. If in August I don't have any finishes, so be it. I don't write anything down. So anyway, Smith Sampler, I finished in July. This one, I'd have to look at when I finished this one. I didn't get out the pattern for Smith Sampler. I think I showed it last time. But the next one I finished was All Joys for Thine by Blackbird. This one, I think I showed it last time that I was working on it, but I have finished it. And I never used to use the whiteboard behind, basically because I was just too lazy to go get something. But it does help you see it a little better. And what I chose to do on this one, my grandmother's parents were married in 1888. So Anna York, no, is that right? Yes. Anna York and James Sailing married in 1888. So it turned out good. I think the original one was kind of, I think it had dates for a wedding. And so this would be my great grandmother on my mother's side. So my mother's mother's mother, my great grandmother. She was born in 1860. That just seems weird that my great grandmother was born at the beginning of the Civil War. And I know there's been like I wasn't born till my mom was like 34. And I think my grandmother was almost 30 when she had my mom. And so, there's been a few, it's not like some generations where every 20 years they have another generation. But anyway, I guess it means I'm getting old. I mean, really, let's just think about it. All Joys for Thine, I finished that one. So what else have I stitched on? Well, I'll just show you. I don't know what order I'd have to get my I'd have to get my book of days out, and I didn't bring it in here. I want to say 2018, but it might have been last year. I decided to start Villages of Hawk Run Hollow. You've all seen this. Well, that's a tatty bag. Anyway, what I did, it was during Mania a few years ago, and I went and I did all of the borders for each of the blocks, so that when I sat down to do the blocks, I already had them all counted out. So, I hadn't touched it for quite a while, and I'm doing it with NPIs, of which I have them all kitted, and that's a lot of NPIs. Now, let's be real. If I have a project that I want to do, and I'm going to put it on my immediate radar, and I need NPIs, I will go look here. And if I have it, I will write on the pattern that I'm kitting up HRH, which means that color is with Hawk Run Hollow. So I'm not really duplicating. I'm not, because there's very few skeins of this that I'm going to use the whole skein. So I am somewhat economical when I do that. So anyway, I stitched a little bit on Hawk Run Hollow. And is it getting dark again? Like the lighting? I feel like it is. I think it is. That's so weird. I'm sorry. Anyway, I did the first block. I have it all done, including the backstitching, which I'm not fan of backstitching. And now I'm working on the second block, which is the church. And I have the fence and the lettering, and I'm in the process of doing some fill in. Let's see, go this way, Carol. So Villages of Hawk Run Hollow, I worked on those 2 blocks. I'm really bothered. Maybe the sun will come back out in a minute. We are the Sunshine State. Hello. Shouldn't have clouds. Okay, what else did I work on? You ask. Well, 2 other projects that I have in my Christie bag. There it comes. There comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I have a GGR pattern that I've wanted to do for a while. Try to hurry up and show before the sun goes. It's called Anne Ariel. Ariel. I call it Areola. Sorry, I hope that doesn't offend anybody. I love this, and I saw it stitched when I was at Country Sampler one year. So I collected, and where is it? There it is. Collected the threads. It's pretty. It's a pretty palette. And I have a little bit of a start on it. Not a whole lot. And it's a tedious border because you got all those leaves, but it'll be so worth it. And this fabric, Hawk Run Hollow, I'm doing on Sand Dune by Lakeside Linens. 36 count, I think. All Joys for Thine I did on a Picture This Plus. I want to say I used, let's see, what does it call for? Heartland, and that's what I used. This is Olive Leaf by Dixie Sampler. She sells her linens on Facebook. Kind of a, I don't want to say an auction, but it's kind of a, she'll list what she has like a day or 2 ahead, and then she'll have numbers. Each piece is numbered. So in other words, you might have 40 count and a certain color, and she might have 2 fat quarters, 2 13 by 18, etc., etc. And then she'll go to 36 count and then 32 count. And so when she goes live with it on Facebook, you have to go immediately and look through what you want and put me please, and then she will PayPal invoice you. I've gotten a few pieces. Her linen is a little pricey, but it's really worth it. It's beautiful. So this piece is called Olive Leaf, and it's a little more green than it's showing up here. It's just beautiful. So Olive Leaf by Dixie Sampler, hand-dyed fabrics. Her name is Terry. So that's Anne Ariel, and I did a little bit on that. And then, let me keep these patterns together or I'll end up who goes with what. The next one I worked on, and I love this chart. This is Mary Gibson by the Haslemere Museum in Great Britain, England, Surrey. I think that's England. A couple people on Instagram have stitched this. I love it. The original pattern when it came called for DMC. So I pulled all the DMC, and then at some point, I think I was in Minneapolis, and I went to Stitchville, and they had a good selection of silks. So I kind of went around and did my own conversion of silks. Now, I'll be happy to share that if anybody is doing this chart. However, I'm kind of changing as I go. So I haven't come to a final list of what colors I'm going to be using. I have some NPIs, I have some dinky dyes, I have a little bit of everything. But basically, I'm taking the brightness down just a hint. So, this is my progress. Oops. I think I'm using light exemplar. Well, Carol, there's a pin in here, or a needle. There we go. Vintage. I don't think it's vintage. I think it's just light exemplar by Lakeside. So I have some of the border done. Again, this is a little bit of a tedious border. But I got down here to this house. Obviously, I'm going to do this one red. And these two, I can't remember what DMC color, but the color for DMC is pretty bright blue. Well, it looks like it's 2 shades of blue, but it's not. This is just every other stitch here, so it looks lighter. And then you've got, this is more full coverage. Or, yeah. So I've been conflicted because the blue that I had picked when I first started stitching it down there looked a little periwinkle. Don't give me purple. Don't give me anything close to purple. I'm like Deb with Country Stitchers. She said she doesn't like pink and purple. I'm not. Now, if it's a flower and it's just, you know, a little bit of pink or a little bit of purple, I don't have a problem with it. But to do a whole house in like a periwinkle purpley color, not happening. So somebody, you know, and sometimes I'll be on Instagram and I'll see different people having stitched whatever. And sometimes I direct message them and say, you know, what color did you use? And some people won't remember. Some people will. It just kind of, it's kind of hit and miss. But why not ask? If somebody said that to me, I would certainly tell them if I remembered. So anyway, I've decided I'm going to go with a gray for that house. This is what somebody used, and I think it's going to be fine. I like the gray next to the red house much more than I would like the periwinkle next to it. Purpley, whatever. So I put a few stitches in that. And then I made a, just a profound decision. I think I have somewhere close, it's between 16 to 20 sampler whips. That's close to criminal in my mind. Because they're big projects, you know? And it's like, do I want to finish something that I started 4 years from now? No, I don't. I want to finish them now. So I've decided that I'm going to focus on 2 sampler whips. And I'm just going to stitch each one till they're done. So I say. Do you ever believe anything I say? I don't know. So the first one that I've made a decision I really want to finish is Red Deer. And I did have quite a bit done. I had the deer finished. I had the middle basket half done. So the flowers on one side were done. I had these 2 baskets done. I had the base of the border, not the flowers. And I've just decided that's it. I'm going to stitch this till it's finished. I'm hoping I have a finish this week. Here's the threads I'm using. And yes, there's a purple in. This girl, or a lavender, I guess, this girl was wild about colors. I think she decided if I can stitch it with a different color, I'm going to. There's just a lot of colors in this. So let me get my little board here so I can show it to you a little better. And this is where I am. So I have all the flowers around the top to finish. Some of them are finished. They're kind of hit and miss because if I'm stitching with a certain color and I have a good length of thread left, I'll go, and there's, you know, a flower on the border, I'll go ahead and stitch that. So I'm working on the bottom pot of flowers down here. And I swear there's 20 colors in that pot of flowers, at least. At least. And then I've got the outline for the other pot of flowers on the other side. Once I finish that, there's some letters at the bottom. There's no over 1, but there's some letters and numbers at the bottom. The date 1866. And then the flowers on the outside. And each flower has 3 colors. So you've got the main color, then you got the center, and then you got around the flower. There's another color. But I should be able to finish the pot, the second pot, by, I don't know, depends on how much stitching time I get next couple days. So that's sampler number 1. I'm gonna do that till I'm finished with it. Period. Promises, promises. The next one that I really, really want to finish. Oh, and Red Deer is by GGR, and I'm using 40 count. I think it's 40. It could be 36. It might be 36. Cedar Plank. I don't think it's vintage, by Lakeside Linens. It's a gray green, and I know there's other people that have used it, and I like it a lot. The next one that I'm on a mission to finish is Charlotte Clayton. I don't know if you can get this anymore or not. It's another museum piece. Somebody was talking about this. Was it Laura? Did she say she had gone to the museum? She wanted to, somebody on a floss tube I recently watched. By Laura, I mean the cereal starter. And she had wanted to see this. I think it was Laura, but the museum was closed. It has those 2 big cats. It has a lot of fiddly stitching in the flowers, but I do have quite a bit done. So this is where I am on Charlotte Clayton. I have the throne down here that one of the cats sits on. Looks like a throne. I have the 2 birds finished. I have these flowers. The whole top is finished, I believe. There might be some doodahs in there somewhere, but I think it's finished. So I have quite a bit finished. You know, I've got to do Adam and Eve, both of the cats, and this whole middle section here. The border's finished. It's completely finished because there's like, it goes in and out green and then red in between there. And I love this flower. Oops. But that's a lot of fiddly stitching, you know, when you have a dot here and a dot there. And I didn't get it out, but a lot of times if I have a lot of fiddly stitching like that, I will use highlighter tape. It's like Post-it note type, you know, you can peel it and restick it and all that, and it's called highlighter tape. I think it comes in green, yellow, maybe pink, and I will put that, you know, on a section that I've either just finished or I'm about to stitch. And it's almost like having, some people use magnets to, you know, have it on a line so they can move it as they stitch across. Sometimes that works for me, but sometimes I get off on my orientation. In other words, if I have like 3 stitches under one stitch, if I do the one and then I move it either up or down, I don't always, okay, where does the 3 go? Does it match on one side? Does it go? Anyway, I know what I'm saying, but it's kind of hard. So you kind of have to find whatever works for you whenever you have a lot of what I call fiddly stitching. Oops, I moved you. Come back. So that is what I have been working on. Now, there's a little bit of me that wants to start on doing some fall stitching, especially as I start finishing some of the pieces that I did last year for fall, and you know, then you kind of get motivated to. But I've been trying in the morning when I wake up, and I'm not an early bird because I stay up late. But I usually get up about 8, and I've been, as I watch the news or whatever, I've been trying to do a little bit of rug hooking. And so at the end, I'll show you. My husband bought me a stand a couple years ago, and I just love it. And I have the cutter. I have wool. I don't have a lot of wool, but I have some wool, enough to do a couple of the pieces that I'm working on. So I've been trying to do that, and then I quilt, and then sometimes in the afternoon, if I'm tired, I nap. Then I fix supper, and then I stitch in the evening. So that's my life. But I am going to show you a few pieces that I'd like to start. And then I'll show you a few things that I've purchased. Not a lot, a little bit. First of all, oops, guess you don't want to see the chart. Well, maybe you do, but you shouldn't. This is Mrs. Pearson by Carriage House Samplings. And Laura is gaga over this. Laura and Brenda. So she's like, so she has a sale going, but I don't think she started it. We were going to start it last week, and then I needed a couple threads. And actually, there's a mistake on my chart. And I will show you what that is. So I'm using DMC. And a piece of Dixie Sampler roasted cashew, which is just your basic kind of sampler color. So on the chart, DMC, mine has 532. There is no DMC 532. It's like, what the heck? There's not even a slot where it's like out of stock. No, there's no DMC 532. So one of the other gals that's going to be, or I think she's already started. She asked me if I'd started it, and I said, well, I'm still looking for one color. number 532. And she's like, that's 598. So it's supposed to be 598. Her chart was correct. My chart was wrong. So no big deal. It was just nice to find out what the actual number. So I'm going to start that sometime soon. And then there's some charts I really want to stitch for fall. Let me take them out of the bag so that you can see it. The first one is Gone Batty. I got this last year at Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat. Brenda Gervais had a little store set up. I thought it was adorable. I did the snowman that was like this. I think she's done a bunny, a snowman. I don't know if she's done anything else. Because she does series. So that's some pretty wild green linen. Did I show you this last time? In my mind, I thought I showed you this. Here's the colors. Whoops. Orange, olive green. And here is the fabric. It's called Kermit, appropriately, by Picture This Plus. So it doesn't call for this big a piece. What did I get? I got a piece that's 36 count, 12 by 17, Kermit. And I won't need all that. However, crinkle, crinkle. I also want to do this one. And she sold these little hoops when we were at Midwest. So I'll have plenty of that Kermit left because that's what this calls for too. I don't have the floss. It takes a lot of floss. And I think some of them are the same ones as that Gone Batty. This is called Holiday Hoopla, Halloween. And she does a lot of those hoopla. She's done quite a few of them. And they're adorable. With the black ribbon, really cute. So that will be, I'll use that Kermit for that as well. No, I can't fit it back in the bag, of course. The next one I want to do, I have this one kitted as well. Hallows Eve at Raven's Hollow. I think that's really cute. So I need to get stitching on these. This one I have a piece of 36 count beige by Weeks. And so many of these Brenda Gervais ones have the same colors. So I may even just put them on one ring. The oranges are like Pumpkin Harvest, Fragrant Cloves, Chrysanthemum, Wood Smoke. So I want to finish my samplers, but I also want to work on a few fall things. So I'm going to have to, I don't do a wheel because I'm so not a rule follower. Now when I drive, I obey laws and all that stuff. But if I told myself I have to stitch on something, it's like, don't want to. Now my samplers I do want to, so that's, I can comply with that. But the next one I want to do is a Scarlet House. Don't know how long I've had this one. Fall Frolic. I think that's adorable. Just a little bit of everything. A basket, a moon, a house. I just think that's really cute. Pumpkins. So that one I have kitted. Again, this is a Dixie sampler, and this is almost exactly the color of Cedar Plank. It's a little more gray. and it's called Lichen. And I got this on one of her recent sales. Good colors. So, and when I do a small like this, I really like to just get it done in like 2 or 3 days. So we'll see how that works out. 2 more fall ones that I want to stitch. Where are we? 50 minutes, just about. Going good. This is Pumpkins and Bittersweet, again by Scarlet House. This one I don't have on a ring. It's almost like you could put just one ring with all these fall colors, but then it's kind of tedious to work with on a small and have a huge ring. Cute. And this I have a piece of vintage Meadow Rue, 40 count. And if I have a piece that's bigger, you know, like this piece is 13 by 18, and on 40 count, the design is 4.5 by 2.5. Then the rest goes into my kind of remnant bin type thing that I have. One more Scarlet House. The pumpkin ones, you know, you can leave out all fall into November. The other ones are pretty much Halloween. Pumpkin, pumpkin on the vine. How'd you get so very fine? I think that's adorable. And I have this one kitted with some 40 count fresco by Picture This Plus. At one time I was in I think it was a monthly thing with Picture This, not with Picture This Plus. It was Picture This Plus Fabric. I think I did it through Needleworkers Delight, maybe. I think so. So I got, maybe it was every other month. But I got Picture This Plus linen. I did get a few colors I didn't like, so I didn't do it again. I don't want bright blue, although obviously I'm going to be stitching on a really bright green, so one never knows. And there's the colors for that. Pumpkin, pumpkin on the vine. I'd be really happy if I got these all done for fall. Don't know that that's happening. And here's just a few things that I got. And then we'll talk about quilt giveaway. I have 3 quilts here to give away. I guess I should have taken pictures at the end. I'll show them the best I can. And they're not huge. And, you know, it's luck of the draw. So if you get it, you get it. I ordered this. Somebody had done this. This isn't a new pattern. This was original release date 2012. But somebody I recently saw did this, and I really, really liked it. Never Let You Go. It's just a sweet sampler. It's not a reproduction, I don't believe. There's some over one. I don't have it kitted. I just got the pattern. I won't kit that right away. This one again, I saw somebody had done this and I thought it was so neat. It can go on my Sunday school wall with all the different ones that I want to do. It's called Ruby Owl's Sampler. Wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Ruby Owl's work, 1845. Love that tree. I'm so sorry for the glare. Here, better take it. Well, it's in one of those funky bags that I don't like. The reason I don't like them is because they stick to the pattern. So I open it and then I tuck that flap back in to the front so it can't stick. Isn't that cute? A little dog. I love these things that are, you know, and they're probably over one. My daughter's calling me, so I need to call her back. I got this one. This was just released by Hands to Work. Tracy Riffle. If you haven't watched her videos, you need to. She designed a while ago, and then she's back to designing. Hannah Hinson. Really like that one. And then I had already gotten the Pattern Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. And I even have the tin roof, but I think I'm going to use this, which is Pool Party. It's a piece by, hand dyed by Teresa Kitten Stitcher, called Pool Party. And I ordered the Attic did a silk conversion, so I ordered that. And you too can have that if you would like to call them, email, whatever. Thought that was really pretty. So I got that. And they send you a list what it converts to, so you, but it's their private property, proprietor. So I don't share conversions by stores. If I do it myself, whatever, that's fine. I got some Dusty Road from Seraphim. Seraphim Fabrics. Dusty Road, 40 count, fat half. I also ordered some, if you haven't gone to Hoop and Frame website, they have a really good selection of excess commodities, legacy linen, which is 37 count, and the names correspond. In other words, this is Wayfair, no, this is Corkscrew Willow in 37 counts. So in other words, you can't get Corkscrew Willow in 45 count. So the color corresponds to the name. I mean the count. Does that make sense? Sure it does, Carol. And they package it with tissue paper. Can you hear the tissue? This is a really nice. This is 37 count, but it looks like natural linen. So if you have a piece that calls for a natural, this is a good alternative. But Hoop and Frame has a pretty good selection of excess commodities linen. And I actually was ordering something, I don't know, thread drops or something I was ordering from them, and I didn't want to just, so I ordered a piece of linen to go with it. And then Laura has us all hepped up on all these girls, look like dolls, but girls. This is Scattered Seed, Anna Morgan. I like them. I'm not going to go crazy doing 100 of them, but I do like them. I think they're cute. That's all I have to show. I'm going to have some quilts at the end, but I have 3 quilts to give away. So pay attention because I'm going to give you a cue. So the first one was my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. And the person never claimed it. I moved you again, sorry. This is the one that has sewing. It's all sewing motifs. It's black, red, kind of cream colored. Has some alphabets. It has all kinds of different. It's backed with a print that has all of the different prints. So I'm going to redraw from that, and the keyword is sewing on that one. For my 6,000 subscribers, I didn't do one. And this one is totally out of character for me, but there may be somebody out there that thinks it's wonderful. I originally made this to teach at a class. The quilt shop that I worked at closed, and within a year another quilt shop opened, and I didn't work at the newer quilt shop, but I taught a few classes at the beginning, and she carried a lot of brights, and so she wanted the class sample to be brights. So this is bright. I think a lot of these are K-facet fabrics. It's backed with a bright green, orange. Has an orange binding. This is about 60 by 70. It's a nice lap size quilt. Yeah, 60 by 72, something like that. It's got all these funky fabrics. So the keyword for that is bright. You can put all three keywords in your comment, but only one person's going to win. In other words, you can't win all three quilts. This one is black and red. It's basically squares on point. Black and red. Black and white and red all over. Remember that joke? What's black and white and red all over? The newspaper. Red, R-E-A-D. Get it? That's one of those jokes you tell when you're like 12 and you get homonyms. Sound the same, mean different. Homonyms? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, the key word for this one is newspaper. Black and white and red all over. That's it. An hour and 3 minutes, and then we're going to include some pictures of quilts at the end, just for eye candy, because I have a lot of quilts and people seem to enjoy some of the pictures of some of the ones I've done. So I'll be signing off. This is Sunday. I hope you all have a great rest of the weekend, and stay healthy, stay happy, and keep stitching. Love you.